Hey family, it's Tasha MAMABEAR Prepping. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. You already know what time it is, baby. Get your drink, pull up. Let's talk about it. We just talk about emergency preparedness and ways of food preservation, how to get food, how to stockpile food, just basically all the things that could happen to you and your family as far as emergency crisis. Really, we just talk about what we do, and hopefully I give you some ideas of what you can do for you and yours. Now, today, I want to talk about something that has really been pressed upon me the last I'd say a couple weeks, since I've been thinking about, like everybody else, New Year's resolutions, goals, ways to be better, ways to get better, ways to get more, but smartly, right? Ways to prepare smartly. That makes sense for money, makes sense for space and storage. And the thing that keeps coming back to me, and I don't know if it's discernment or what, but it keeps coming back to me is get the basics, Tasha. Get the basics and essentially make moves that double or triple what you have immediately. And I'm going to just kind of walk you through what I mean with that. So many times I just blurt out, hey, staples, right? Rice, beans, pastas, right? Get you a fat to cook with, get you, your meats, either you're pressure canning them or you're stockpiling it in a can form. Whatever it is, stockpile, the basics, right? You can get away with very few ingredients that can essentially make several dishes, right? And you don't need these recipes that have, 20 things in the planning, right? In the, oh my gosh, I'm not thinking of the word I'm trying to say, in the recipe, right? You don't need 20, 30 ingredients, 20 different spices, right? You need basic spice. That's your go-to spice, some salt and pepper. Like, you don't need a lot, okay? And so it becomes, the thing that keeps coming to me is get food, and get years worth of food. For many years, preppers, I'd say 10 years back even, the thing that preppers used to say was, you need food and water, 1 gallon per person per day, but that's totally been blown out. That's not reasonable. That's not a great expectation. That's not a great goal for water. You need much more than that, okay? Overall picture. And I think we have done a disservice to people by just regurgitating that and saying that over the decades. And same thing for food. We've said, hey, okay, it starts with, you need 72 hour, right? You need your emergency food. And then it's like, okay, but then you need a couple weeks. And then people are like, well, no, you need a couple months, right? And that was like the big thing, was you need to have a couple months. But no, the reality of what is coming down the pipeline for us, shortage issues, not being able to get stuff, crop issues, destruction issues, sabotage issues. I mean, you name it, all the things that are happening that are going to cause this. Famine is something that you need to be seriously preparing for, and preparing your family and how you're going to get through that, okay? And 2 months worth of food is not enough. You are going to need to have years worth in order to even begin to get through some hard times. Imagine right now, you have people who have been preparing for a while, right? And just with how things are right now, today, you can still go to the grocery store and get stuff. You can still go on Amazon and buy stuff. You still can get stuff. Yes, we've had shortages. Yes, we've had some concerns, all this stuff. But essentially, the average person can still go to a store and get something. Maybe it's not the same thing. But there are families that are literally surviving off of those preps that they prepared. Now, mind you, that's what it's for. You are preparing for whatever comes your way. And in this case, a lot of people, what is happening now is hitting them hard, right? People having to make decisions about keeping the lights on or putting food on the table, right? And so you have people who are absolutely living on preps. Over the last year, since we've been back, since we've been retired and we're back here, we had so much stuff on our minds and that we are physically doing with the house and getting things going, that we were living off the preps. I was not going to the store. And some of that was just like, yeah, I don't want to go. I don't want to pay those prices, whatever. But really, that wasn't it. I was so busy that I just didn't have time, and I knew we had it. Like, life just went on because we had all the things. But that depleted a lot of items, right? And you have families that are literally living off that stuff, and thank God they have it to be able to live on. But what is the game plan for later? Because they're depleting that, right? It is super important to think about food, think about the famine that will hit and getting multiple years worth of food in your home. Now, people would say, but how do you do that? How do you get that much food? I don't have the space for it. I don't have the money for it. Listen, I think it's extremely important that this is put into your budget. We've talked about several ways and different things over the years of how to get money in your pocket to be able to then spend it on preps. You've got to look at yourself, look within, look with the money that is going out, what is it being spent on, and make smart decisions. I do not care if you have no money at all to spend on preps after you pay bills. Like, you have a certain amount that comes in, that's all you have, and there's no way to skim, right? You don't have apps you can turn off, you don't have stuff that you can just turn off, stop buying coffee, all the little, BS type ways that people say you can save money, right? Maybe you do not have that, but then there's free prepping. There is ways to get free food, free items, free things. You've got to be a little savvy. And you've got to be creative, and you've got to be willing to do it. You want to do it. The desire has to be there. I can't give that to you. I can't say, here you go through the screen. Now you have the motivation to do this, the desire to do this. You have to want to be able to do this, okay? And if you have the desire to do it, you'll do it. Now, a lot of you I know have been doing this for a while. And you're like, Tasha, I've got a year, I've got 8 months, I got 6 months, I got 2 years. I know some of you got several years. This is how you do it. If you budget in whatever you have for prepping, and this is how you do it. And this is how you do it fast. You pick one item that you know is a survival food that your family could eat every single day if they had to survive. That's rice, that's beans, that's pasta, whatever it is that you know your family would eat every single day. And I'm not talking about all the different ways that you would cook it, right? There's 1,000 ways to cook rice, and that's how you would keep the variety going. But let's just say, if there's famine and people are not eating, your family's not going to be complaining about eating rice every day. If there's people literally starving every single day, millions of people perishing because they do not have food, your family's not going to complain that all they're eating is rice. But pick something. And this is for everybody. This doesn't matter if you have 2 months, if you have 2 years. Pick something that you know your family will eat. Let's say rice. And then you're going to budget, and you're going to buy a year's worth of that, okay? Now, a lot of people think, oh, I'll get a 5-gallon bucket. I'll get a couple of those. That's enough for my family. No, you've got to do the math on the back of the package on whatever the amount is that it takes to feed your family, right? You're going to pull out the package. You're going to make your rice like you would for any meal that would feed your family. How much of it did you use? Then you're going to do the math on the back of the bag to figure out how much that size bag that you got, because it's different. I can't just give you the math calculation. It depends on the bag you have. Did you get a 20 pounder? Did you get a 25 pounder? Did you buy a 50 pounder? Whatever. Is this just a 10 pounder? And figure out how much that bag of rice will take you guys. And do the math and see how much you need. And you're going to shoot for a year. One staple for a year, get it done, get in the budget. Now, for some people, you can knock this out pretty quickly, right? Okay, I'll buy 2 months worth. Okay, now I'll buy 2 more months worth, right? Do it how you can do it in your budget, okay? And for some people, I know that's much longer, but you concentrate on that one staple, right? Now, you have your other preps. For those of you that are like, well, I have a year's worth. Let's just say I've got a year's worth. I think I've got a solid year's worth, even if we ration, if we fast, if we start implementing stuff to make our food last because something has happened, right? And we want to stretch it for as long as possible. But if you have a goal for 1 year for one staple and you get that, you can instantly double what you have. So if you have 6 months now, you shoot for that goal for a year's worth of rice. Now you have a year and 6 months worth of food. If you have 8 months, you have a year and 8 months, okay? Get the year done on one staple that you know, because then you know for a fact, I've got a year. Even if you're not quite sure if you have 2 months, 4 months, could I stretch it to 6 months? Maybe I have a year. Could I stretch that to 2 years? Whatever it is that your game plan is and that you think that you have, whether you've computed that, accurately, or you're just kind of guessing with what you have, or you're just doing some chicken scratch on a piece of paper and trying to kind of just figure out, okay, I think I approximately have this month. That is a way to immediately get a year. And no matter what your pantry looks like, you know that you have that stockpile of a year good to go. Okay. And you can bring that down, right? Listen, I understand budgets. I understand money. I understand that people can't just go out. That is a lot of rice. You take a family of 3 or 4, that is a lot of rice. And it becomes, okay, well, how do I store it? How do I do, baby, just get at that point, you're really just needing to get it stored in any way possible, right? A lot of people will say Mylar bags, 5-gallon buckets. That's not always conducive, right? But you can put stuff in Mylar bags and put it in totes. Get the large totes, put make sure you have the math right on the Mylar bag, how much rice it was and how far it will get you guys. And then lay those bags down with your oxygen absorbers in those totes. I know tons of people that just Amish way, older ways of doing stuff that just keep grains in plastic airtight containers, right? Whether that's totes, buckets, barrels, however they're keeping it, it's just an airtight container, right? And those folks will tell you for years and years, they've been holding rice like that. And it's always been fine. Can bugs get into stuff? Can there be stuff in there? Absolutely. But they deal with that how they deal with it, okay? I think it's very important to get pasta. If you don't eat rice, make it beans. If your family absolutely does not mess with beans, what do you guys eat? Is it pasta? Buy enough pasta for a year, okay? You've got to get this stuff done. I can't stress it enough, right? And pasta is a little bit easier. Pasta usually comes in a pound package. Think about when you make spaghetti, when you make pasta, when you make anything, right? And you were going to do like a 1-pot pasta. How much of that package are you using for you and your family? Is it the whole package every single time? Is it half the package? Is it 3/4 of the package? How much of the package? And then figure out how many do you need to make a meal every single day for 365 days. Okay. And then repackage that stuff, put it in jars, put it in airtight containers, put it in Mylar bags, put it in totes, put it wherever you're going to do, but get a year's worth of it. And then I have a year's worth of pasta put away, right? I have a year's worth of a staple, right? The staples is what's going to take us, right? You can take this further and just say, okay, I'm going to shoot for 6 months of staples, right? Again, doesn't matter. Maybe you have 3 months of overall food kept. Maybe you have a year's worth of overall food kept, but you're going to make yourself a staple goal. Okay. And you're going to say, okay, I'm going to work on the staples and I'll work on 6 months of the staples items. Okay. I'm going to get 6 months worth of rice. I'm going to get 6 months worth of beans, 6 months worth of pasta, 6 months worth of oil or a fat. I'm going to get my canned meat, enough for 6 months. I'm going to get, and you're thinking about your staples. I'm going to get enough flour for 6 months. I'm going to get enough sugar for 6 months, yeast for 6 months. I'm going to get my salt and pepper for 6 months. I'm going to get my favorite seasoning 6 months. And you're just shooting for a goal of staples only for a certain amount of time. Okay. I can't tell you how much this is just really pressing upon me. Even for me, something is telling me, Tasha, do this now. Concentrate on staples. Don't spend your money on just stockpiling the cans. Because normally that's what I do. I'm doing sales and I'm just stockpiling the holes. But something is telling me to concentrate on these staple items that will take my family the distance, and not thinking about all the fancy things that go to make a meal, all these extra ingredients that are not needed. A lot of those extra ingredients are processed items. Like, let's get back to slow cooking. Let's get away from fast food, and let's get back to the basics, the staples. What are the average things? I can't tell you how many times I never get sick of potatoes, fried potatoes, or potato soup, or potatoes anyway, roasted potatoes, right? So for me, it's like, I'm going to be hitting the rice. I'm going to be hitting the beans, staples. I'm going to be hitting the pasta hard. I'm going to be hitting the potatoes hard, and getting the potatoes in any way. So for example, potatoes, I'm going to be growing potatoes. I'm going to be buying potatoes. I'm going to be preserving potatoes. I have pressure canned potatoes. I have freeze-dried potatoes. I have freeze-dried potatoes in all types of different ways, right? Diced potatoes, potato flakes, potatoes anyway, because I know that is a staple that me and my family eat, right? Get the things that your family eat. You guys are big on yams, nutritious, as all get out. You know, having yams stacked, it don't matter if this is a jar kind, preserved kind, preserve them yourself, dry them, freeze dry them, get them in the freeze dried number 10 cans. Get the staples any way you can. To me, eggs are a staple. Now we have chickens, but I forever have been stockpiling eggs in the form of freeze dried eggs, powdered eggs, freeze dried whole eggs. I mean, you name it, I have eggs stockpiled before I ever got chickens, you know, and obviously I was buying store bought. I have frozen eggs that I've frozen in the freezer. I have eggs, preserved in so many different ways. And now we have chickens, and I'm looking forward to hopefully preserving another way, right, in lime, and being able to preserve them in a different way. But again, it's a staple. It's a must-have. Eggs is a must-have. Having dairy and milk. You can get all your dairy products in powder form on Amazon right now, or other places too. I'm sure Azure Standard has them, but you not just powdered milk. People are like, powdered milk. Powdered milk. Powdered sour cream, powdered buttermilk, powdered cheeses, all your dairies you can get in a powdered form right now, right? So that heavy cream, you're like, how am I going to have heavy cream and buttermilk? Now you can make this stuff, but get these basics that you need for everyday cooking, right? Get your butter. Again, I stockpile butter like crazy, right? Freeze dried butter like crazy. I can butter like crazy. I get ghee. I make ghee. Whatever it is, getting butter. It is a fat. It's a needed thing. When I pressure can meat, a lot of people like to skim fat, cut off fat, right? They don't. But I like that extra fat, and they can, because that is that's my way of make sure that I have some cooking fat and I have some fat later to use. Bacon. That's why I love pressure canning bacon. Again, not even an approved method. Butter and bacon are not approved methods, but they are must-have preps that I have absolutely pressure canned, because that bacon, yeah, of course, is it cool to have bacon? Absolutely. But the fat that I get in that jar from processing a thing of bacon is amazing, okay? Amazing. And that is a staple that is going to be needed when you're cooking over a fire, or you're cooking on some kind of alternate heat source, right? A fat, okay? Or you can't get stuff in the store. You've got to have a fat to be able to cook with, okay? And the staples I'm talking about are super important. Staples of vinegars and different flavoring agents, honey, things like that. And a lot of these staples last forever if you keep them right, right? So not only is it a staple, right, that you can literally feed your family on, but it lasts forever if you keep it right, okay? And we need to get back to the basics and making basic soups and stews. It is so easy to make a soup or a stew and throw it together. A one-pot meal, whether that's a sheet pan meal, whether that's a meal in the crock pot, that's a meal in the Instapot, it's a meal in your Dutch oven. Baby, I could go on all day, right? So I want you to concentrate on staples. I'm just sharing what's been shared with me. Staples is the thing to concentrate on, and set a goal. I want a year's worth of this one staple. I'm going to then move on to a year's worth of this other staple, or cut that goal back, right? I understand you can't just do that. Just say, I'm going to get a month's worth of this staple. I'm going to get a month's worth of this staple. I'm going to get a month's worth of this staple. Get that month's worth of all the staples. Get a piece of paper out and you write down what the staples are to you and your family, right? What is something that you literally could eat every day, that you can make into something different every single day, and start with a month or start with 6 months, whatever your budget will allow. But my point is to concentrate on the staples. If you're the type that can only afford a can here, a can there, whatever, that's fine. Prioritize your staples, and then that's what you're getting, right? You're getting another bag of rice. And every time you're getting another bag of rice with your extra money, you're buying your regular groceries and you're getting another bag, and you're working on getting a certain amount of time worth of that thing. It's I can't tell you, such a peace of mind when you know, okay, I have a year's worth of rice. I'm not saying quit, lay down, whatever. You're continuing to buy things, you're continuing to buy ingredients, all this stuff. But knowing in the back of your mind that if something went left, you absolutely have a year's worth of rice now for you and your family. I can't tell you, like, you're golden. And then if you take that further and make sure you get the next staple, you get the next staple, you get the next staple, you're going to be fabulous, right? And the thing is This is important because this is absolutely coming our way. Famine is coming our way. And I don't even care right now. People saying, oh man, you talk about food all the time, or your family members that are persecuting you and telling you, no, you know, you're crazy, you have too much, you don't have enough, whatever. Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing, because you are possibly not only saving your life, but you're saving your family members' lives when they come running asking for help, you know, or something has happened and they're like, I can't believe this is happening, we should have listened to you. Yeah, you should have. And I know people are like, well, I'm just going to close the door on them, but a lot of people are not going to do that. You're at the end of the day, you're not closing the door on any family. I mean, you know, I talk a big game, but at the end of the day, you know, I'm a daughter in Christ, and I'm going to help my family, and I'm going to help my friends. And if people come to my door and are asking for help, I'm going to pray about discernment, that the Lord will tell me, you know, who I should be helping, what I should be doing, how should I be reacting, right? And I'm not naive, right? I understand there's evil people out there. There's evil people out there that will try to lie to you and manipulate you and all this stuff. But I'm trusting that He's going to guide me in the way that I need to be guided, and when I need to be soft and loving, and when I need to be hardcore. That's what I'm going with. But staples, okay? Double down. Now's the time to double down, double those preps. Pick a staple, concentrate on it. Pick a staple, concentrate on it. And figure out a goal, 6 months, a year, whatever, and do it. For those of you that have been doing this, you're like, well, Tasha, I already have 2 years worth. Baby, I'm telling you, the person that's like, I got 2 years worth of food. Get your staple, pick one, and pick a goal and get it. It's much better knowing, okay, I got 2 years, whatever. And really, maybe you know or you don't know, you're just guessing, who knows. But you concentrate on a goal like that, and then you know for a fact you've got that year's worth of rice, or you whatever, okay? Or maybe look at your preps and just the staples alone, you say you have 2 years worth, how much rice? How much, if you just did rice, how much do you have? Oh, you only have 2 months worth of rice. Okay, get that other 8 months knocked out, right? To truly say you have a year's worth of certain staples. Okay, you know, I have a year, but maybe there's some stuff in there that you only have a month of, and you've totally slipped on. And the stuff that you don't want to be slipping on is the staples. Okay, so what's today? Today's Thursday. The week is kind of flying by. We've had a lot of rain. Today, we have more rain coming tonight, but today during the day, it's supposed to be a little bit drier. So I'm going to try to sweep up. There's been crazy wind. So I'm going to just try to pick up branches and do some basic yard work today and get outside. I don't know what you guys are doing, but be active, be well, you know, do things in love, and be kind, okay? Because we need kindness in the world, because there's a lot of trolls, there's a lot of haters, there's a lot of people that just want to say negative stuff to you just to get a rise out of you. Oh, I do want to mention this. If any of you guys received, you know, yesterday, I think it was just somebody fishing to get people to call them for financing or whatever. But, you know, several of my comments had somebody who was using my icon, my MAMABEAR logo, and then their name on YouTube was a phone number, and then they were simply commenting on everybody. They were replying to your guys' comments about text me, call me, right? So I think I went through last night, I deleted all those, I reported them, I hid them, I you know, blocked them from being able to you know, do that again. But obviously, if it's a troll, if it's a hater, if it's something, you know, and they're going to try to break through again and make new accounts, just know that, you know, I would hope it'd be common sense. First of all, it wasn't my name, it was a logo. But even if for some reason somebody changed it to my name, I'm never going to just be commenting, talking about call me or text me. I'm just not going to do that. Okay. For those of you that I have called, that I have text, I usually get a hold of you in a different way, in a different manner completely. Yeah, so I'm never going to do that. So just ignore those. When I see them, I do go through, delete them, report them, do the whole thing, hide them from notification, all that stuff. So hopefully that will stop this person from just bombing, trying to get business through our comments. So you guys have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow in the next video. Take care. Bye.